Hello, Namaskaram. My name is Gauri. I am a solo female traveler and I'm about to finish my PhD in mathematics. I have written a lot of columns and articles for several publications, and for the past 1.5 years, I have a page, namely Gaurida Kathagal, where I post my stories about travel and food. When I heard the theme of this TEDx talk being resolute, the first thing that came into my head was, what is resolute to me? What does it mean to me? Of course, there is a definition in the dictionary. But apart from that, does resolute actually mean being fearless? Does resolute mean being stubborn? Does resolute mean being absolutely confident all the time about something that you believe in? For me, resolute doesn't mean any of those things. Resolute means taking that conscious decision to pursue something that you believe in despite having your fears and insecurities. You're addressing your fears, you're addressing your insecurities. Sometimes you might be the most demotivated person in the room, but yet you believe in that one dream. So, let me just give you a brief about my childhood. I was a single child. I am a single child. And most of the time, I had to stay at home alone because both of my parents were working. That doesn't mean that I had a very lonely childhood because I knew how to engage myself from a very young age. I was a very happy child. I used to have my own culinary experiments. I used to mix orange tang with milk and I used to drink it. I used to go through Balarama. I used to have Dingan. I used to have Kapish. I used to have every other cartoon character and 90s kid to think of as my friends. And I was very happy being with myself. So once I was about to finish my plus two, everybody around me expected me to be a doctor or an engineer, to go for MBBS or some BTech, some professional degree, since she was really good at her studies. But for the first time in my life, I chose to go against what people were expecting of me. I wanted to pursue a degree course, a BSc mathematics course, either from St. Stephen's College, Delhi, or Madras System College, Chennai. So after hours and days of persuasion, MCC, Madras System College, till Chennai I could go. And I was happy with it because I just wanted to explore a new place all on my own. I never wanted anybody to come with me. And I thought, Chennai is the best place to be since there are a lot of places close by. So I chose Chennai. I was happy. I joined college. I joined hostel. Imagine being pampered like anything at home and going to the ultimate opposite, hostel life and college life. It was quite a shocker for the first few weeks. And then I asked myself, Gauri, you have been to college, you have been to hostel, you haven't been anywhere else. And one fine morning, I'm deciding, let me go to Kanjipuram. Because Kanjipuram is the closest place to Chennai that I knew of then. I'm talking about an era where 5G internet is not there. There are no Google Maps, no Android phones, nothing. So the only thing that you knew about the world were through magazines or papers or through word of mouth. So I knew that Kanjipuram is somewhat 1.5 or 2 hours away from my college. I decided, let me just go about it. I went to Tambaram bus stop. I didn't know which bus I should be going. I kept on asking around. Somehow I managed to grab a Kanjipuram bus. I went and sat on the side seat and I proudly said, Anna, one Kanjipuram. The bus slowly started moving and I cannot explain to you in words the high I felt. It was something intoxicating. For the first time, I felt like the main character of my own movie. I was independent. I am about to decide where I am supposed to go. I am supposed to decide what I am going to eat. I am supposed to decide when I am going to return. Nobody else is controlling my plans, and I don't have to accommodate anybody else's plan. So that bus journey, I got down. I went to a couple of temples in Kanjipuram. I spoke with a lot of people. I bought some Mallipu from an akka. I had piping hot Kanjipuram idli. And I came back at 6:30 with an absolute satisfaction that, I felt that, I did something with my life. Everybody thought that it's just a phase. It's just that my father was very interested in knowing about the places I visited. He used to be very fascinated about the places I visited. So I used to only tell him about the stories of the place. So it went on for 5 years. After 5 years, the next big question, what am I supposed to do next? So, of course, after MSc, BSc and MSc, somebody who studies well, the next big thing is NET, National Eligibility Test. Once I crack NET, I can get admitted. I mean, I can find myself a job as a teacher. And of course, my life is settled. So the thought process was like that. My mother is also a mathematics professor. So, I mean, it was quite sorted. I told myself, okay, Gauri, stop traveling. You will sit and study, because in those 5 years, I didn't study much. I was traveling. Right before the exam, I'll open the book and I'll just study. So I told myself that, I'll sit and study and I'll crack the NET. Then only I'll travel. I don't know why I put that penance on myself, because probably I thought that I'm very bright at studies, that I might crack NET in a go. But little did I know, it took me 4 years to crack NET exam. Every time there might be, I feel that this might be it. Something or the other will go wrong. Either the, cutoff will be high or something or the other. I will be disappointed with myself. And in those 4 years, I never went out. I studied day and night. I didn't do anything else. I don't know why, now thinking about it, I don't know why I kept on punishing myself like that, but I kept on studying day and night. In those 4 years, a lot of things happened. I joined joined for my PhD. I got married. So a lot of things happened, but I was stuck. People around me were happy because, I was just ticking off all the, checklist items that they had for me. But within myself, I wasn't happy. And I thought that cracking NET might be the problem. I am, quite sad all the time, mainly because I haven't cracked this exam. Once I crack this exam, once I sort everything out, I'll be happy. So I was waiting, and I was studying. And one fine attempt later, I got All India rank 59 with JRF. This is the moment I'm supposed to be happy. I was, supposed to be over the top. My parents were happy. My in-laws were happy. The people were around me were happy. The milkman was happy. Everyone was happy, except for me. I was miserable. I became more miserable because I thought that this would solve all my problems. This would solve all my sadness in the life. And yet I was miserable. I remember calling my husband and telling him that, I don't know why, but I'm sad. And being the doctor himself, he asked me, why you are sad? All of a sudden, I couldn't breathe. I felt that I'm going to die the next moment. I didn't know that I was having a panic attack. I was having the first and the worst panic attack that night. And I told him, I have a past. And he said, everybody has a past. It's okay. And I told him, no, I'm miserable. And he said, that's something that we need to address. So you tell me, what is your problem? And I said, I want to travel. I want to travel alone. And he said, go ahead and travel. And I'm like, this is not something I want to do for as a one-time adventure. I want to relentlessly travel. I want to travel as much as I can. I want to travel everywhere, and that too alone. And he said, go ahead. What is stopping you? And all of a sudden, it just rose in my head that, what is stopping me actually? And then I told him, how about your parents? How about your relatives? Will they be happy? And he said, who cares? It's your life. Gauri, nobody in this world is going to understand what other person wants. Nobody, don't expect anybody to understand your dream. It's just your dream. You are supposed to fulfill it. Don't wait till you get the entire Panchayat's blessings to pursue your traveling dreams. No, that doesn't happen. There will be people who will be talking about you. There will be people who will be going against you. But you need to figure it out if this is something that you want to do for the rest of your life. I swear, even though I was married for a couple of years. I fell in love with the man over and over again at that particular moment. He was like, I was like, I patted myself on the back and I said, Gauri, this is the best investment that you have ever given. So, there was no doubt where I was supposed to go. I had quite saved up money because I used to tutor in an online tutoring service. So I had a couple of bucks saved for myself. And the place I wanted to go was Varanasi. Because when I was 12 years old, my father, he was a huge Satyajit Ray fan. So he used to I mean, he made me watch Satyajit Ray's Aparajito, which is a very, very famous movie, which is part of a trilogy. And there, the opening shot is Varanasi. So from that very moment onwards, the 12-year-old me knew that, someday I want to see Varanasi. I want to go through that, through those ghats. I want to see those, file ones rustling. I want to see the side of Varanasi like never before. So I booked a round trip to Varanasi. Right before the trip, I told my parents, I told his parents. Of course, the reaction was quite mixed, except for my father, who was very happy for me because he knew this is gonna be something that his daughter is gonna do. I went to Varanasi. I stayed there for almost 10 days. I talked with the locals. I had lots of kulhad chai. I had lots of chaat. Almost every evening I used to sit at the ghats and watch the aarti. This is the Varanasi pre-Instagram. So there never used to be this Instagram photographers or crowd. So it was all calm and all serene, exactly where I was supposed to be. In those 10 years of introspection, I was so sure that this is something I relentlessly want to pursue. There was no doubt about it. If this is something that keeps me alive, this is something without it, I'm nothing. So I came back home, and after that, there was no asking around, there was no permission being taken. I kept on traveling. I traveled left, right, center, and I was quite happy with myself. And meanwhile, I was pursuing my academics as well. And then came a point in 2023 when my father passed away. So my father was somebody like, my confidant, my friend, philosopher, everything for me. So once he passed away, I didn't have anybody else, to share my travel experiences with. Whenever I used to go somewhere, I'll just, pick up my phone and I'll call him and, I'll talk to him about the place very excitedly for another 2-3 hours. And the grief actually brought me down. I mean, I couldn't bear the weight of the grief that, that I felt. And after a few months, I decided that, the only thing that can save me from this grief is travel. I traveled again. And this time, I just kept on posting a couple of things on Instagram to distract myself from this grief. And that's how the page Gaurida Kathagal was born. It was an accident. I became an accidental content creator. That's how I would call myself. I never had any plans. I never knew what is clout. I never knew what is Instagram algorithm. I knew nothing. I just kept on posting. So after a while, even though it was started as a distraction from the grief, I met a lot of people who have the same interest that I have for travel. I never knew that there were that many people in Kerala, especially women, who want to travel. That too from many, that too from a varied age group. There were youngsters, there were housewives. They all had just one question: is it safe? Is it safe to travel alone? How can I travel? So I got to know that there are a lot of like-minded souls. It's just that they don't know where to start. They probably don't have a support system that they need. But the reality of it is, once you take that first step, once you tend to pursue the dream of traveling, and once you start seeing the world, you would realize that the world isn't as unsafe as they portray it to be. I believe that for centuries, women have been told that you're not safe outside unless and until you have a male companion. You are not safe after 7 p.m. You're not safe here. You're not safe there. But the reality is, you are as safe or as unsafe as you are in your home as you are on the road. Mishaps can happen at home. Mishaps can happen on the road. I'm not saying that you should be traveling at 2 o'clock in the morning in India. No, unfortunately, that's not the case. But I would say that there is nothing wrong with a woman wanting to travel alone, and there shouldn't be anything that stops her from it. Growing up, I never had many female travelers to look up to. There weren't, many female travelers even in international media that I could look up to. But things have changed now. There are a lot of female travelers, there are a lot of women in different walks of life who are excelling in it, which was once a male dominated field. That only happened because some of us decided to be illogical. Some of us decided to be impractical. Some of us decided to be adventurous. Some of us decided, this is it. I am done. I am done waiting for others' approval. Let me just go about and do what I want to do. Some of us decided, I am going to be resolute about my dream. So, all I want to say to whoever is sitting here is that if you have a dream, if you have something that you are wildly passionate about, grab onto that, believe in that. You don't have to convince the rest of the world that it will make sense. You just have to believe in that dream. Be wildly passionate about it. Make sure that you are not turning any leaf to make it happen. Make sure that you, make sure that once, probably by the end of your life, you don't have the regret that you didn't pursue that one thing that you wanted to pursue. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to make, you don't have to make others believe in what you believe in. Be resolute about it. Be unconventionally, be unrevocably, be passionately mad about it. And I really, really hope that you all will be pursuing your dream one day. And thank you so much for giving me this time. Thank you so much for listening to me. And thank you so much, Jyoti, for giving me this platform. Thank you.